transmit from my house here in Dorado, Puerto Rico. And I just wanted to do a little update on my solar freezer. Um, I bought this maybe, I don't know, about maybe 2 months ago already. I did come on live, but I wanted to, give you guys an holding up. So let me just flip it over here, okay? A Frigidaire 5 cubic foot freezer, right? And it's running. It's been running for the. You see the whole thing. It's not totally full, and it's running on solar. For the last 2 months. Here, I got my power bank, and look at where my batteries are at. They're at 13.7. You know, with my battery bank right here, and so the interesting thing about this freezer is that this is not a this is a regular, 115 volt regular AC freezer that I bought, and and the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm doing this on a 12-volt system, volt system with a modified sine. Okay? So I'm doing all of the no-nos here for you guys. So I'm running modified sine wave, a 12-volt system, and an AC freezer. Okay? All of the no-nos, and it's working 100% fine. Um, a lot of people say, "Oh no, but I want a 12-volt freezer." Look, I'm gonna be really honest with you. 12-volt freezer, if I were to get that freezer, but 12-volt version, the savings is nominal in terms of power. Now, in terms of cash, a 12-volt freezer of that size could cost you bucks. Whereas this type of freezer, you could pick it up at a Walmart for 180, $200. It's a big difference. So what can you do with that? Then you can get a regular freezer, and if you're about, the marginal efficiency, pick up an panel, and you're still going to have a lot of money saved over. Interesting with this setup is that I have an Alpicool 12-volt freezer fridge. I'm going to show it to you guys, and I have shown this before. What's interesting is this one actually is 12 volts, directly off of the 12-volt cable, but I really saw no savings in terms of power. So, long story short, and for convenience purposes, I'm this fridge straight off of, I am using the inverter, and I'm running that one off of a solar system that I have here in my bedroom for this system. Okay, which are these two batteries. All right, and there's the charge controller, and off of this inverter. Now, that little fridge right 24/7 off of solar as well. As you can see here, my battery's at 13.2, so it gets a full charge, and it's only about 45 watts. So when I was running it, and the thing is that some people say, "Oh, but you're wasting because of the inverter." Wasting a little bit, but what happens is that at night I have a turbo fan, and it runs off of that system all night. So I have to turn on the inverter anyway. Honestly, based on that, I'm noticing the difference between running that Alpicool fridge on 12 volts rather than the AC cable. It's like so minimal. It's not even worth running it off of 12 volts. I mean, like I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with running off of 12 volts, but I'm just noticing, you know, it's it doesn't make a difference. So anyway, but that's how I'm running my setup. So, but this system right here, deep freezer is been run off of solar for almost 2 months already. Continue to turn it off at night or anything. Continuous, just like that, continuous. My modem is running off of my system continuous. Um, So I'm gonna show you my I actually just upgraded recently. So right there, and we have fiber optics. You know, and all of that is running off the lights. I put up LED lights, so basically any lighting in the house is all LED. I run every recording studio, the TV, I run everything. Now, right now, system, it's still daylight out, so I'm really the only thing that I'm running off of my solar system right now is the freezer is hooked up to this 1,000 watt inverter. But basically, entire house, this inverter right here is running off of that same big system as well. So, but I use this during the day when I'm gonna run the studio and whatnot, and basically have when the sun is out, I turn everything on. I turn my fans on. I do everything that I have to do during the um. As you can see, me here for a second. Okay, when I say that I run the recording studio, I mean I'm not kidding. I literally am running a recording studio. You know, right now everything's off. You know, and everything. And if you follow my channel, you know that this is what I do. But everything, even my surveillance cameras and everything, off of my entire house is off grid. It's off grid. Um, so I mean, it can be done. It can be done, and it can be done without having such a big, expensive. So like about it, but in terms of the freezer, which is the focus of this thing, if I were you, I wouldn't buy a 12-volt freezer. I would save your unless there are some circumstances that you would probably 12-volt freezer. I don't know, maybe it'll be convenient for I don't know off gridders like on in a travel trailer or something. But if you live off grid, like in your house or a cabin, I don't think it's gonna make sense for you. I would save. If you got like if you're planning on spending $800 $900 on a freezer, a 12-volt freezer, my option is get yourself a regular AC freezer and then the on solar, because then you could use the solar panels extra power for other stuff, or extra batteries or a better inverter. I said, guys, I mean, I've done all the no-nos, or not. Everybody criticizes my batteries are not in series. Everybody's always talking about series. I'm a big proponent, and I believe in parallel connections. My solar panels are in parallel. My batteries are in parallel. People say, "Oh, 12-volt system isn't efficient." It works for me. For me, I'm running my modified sine wave inverter. People say, "Oh, that's a bad." That's what I'm doing. And people say, "Oh, you should have gotten 12-volt freezer." Nope, I didn't do that either. So sometimes, guys, you got to think for yourselves and not. I'm not saying that the people who are saying to go a different route are wrong, but I'm just saying there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I'm all about frugality and saving money. That's all I gotta say, guys. So it can be done. I'm evidence. I live 100% off grid. So if you have any questions, if you want any specifications, down below, and I'll leave your comments, and I'll make sure that I address. God bless. Ruben Obed.